Hi everyone, this is Richard Edwards from Winchester. For Rich, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob Wilson. I'm currently in Manchester. How are you doing, Rich?
Good, thanks Rob. Yeah, it's a quick temperature check in Manchester today. What are we looking at?
Oh, I reckon probably 8 or 9. Still got the winter coat on.
Yeah.
Feel like I'm stood on the side of a football pitch watching my lad playing grassroots football.
Good stuff, good stuff. Well, it's timely that you're in Manchester, Rob. We woke up yesterday to news of yet more potential redundancies at Manchester United, more Jim Ratcliffe cuts. What do you make of everything?
I think essentially they need to do it. That's not going to be popular for people to hear, and I think that's against a backdrop of a lot of wasted finance. Whether you look at the Dan Ashworth signing and then departure, that's probably cost him in the region of 4 million. The extension to Erik ten Hag's contract that probably cost him another 10 or 12 million. The extraction of Ruben Amorim from Sporting Lisbon that cost them another 10 million. When you start closing canteens, removing staff perks, that does stick in the back of the throat for a lot of people, because actually it's a drop in the ocean compared to the money that's being lost by the organisation. But I think Omar Barada's probably hit the nail on the head in his latest statement. The reality is Manchester United has lost money for the last 5 years. They had a workforce that was 30 or 40% bigger than their nearest rivals in the Premier League, and I think if Manchester United were playing at a level that was 30 or 40% better than all of their rivals, you could understand why they had so many people working in off-field activities. The reality is the organisation got bloated, and I think really needs to restructure and become much more agile for the next phase, I think, of the men's first team, but also to support the rest of the organisation, the women's team, the academy structures, because they haven't simply been competing at a level that was adequate for a club of the size of Manchester United. So unpalatable, perhaps, necessary, absolutely.
And 250 redundancies sounds like an awful lot at a single football club. But could you put that into some kind of context in terms of the size of Manchester United's current staff? Yeah,
so they're shedding about 25% of the workforce when you combine the on and off field functions. Manchester United, when Jim Ratcliffe made the investment in Manchester United in 2024, Manchester United had about 1,200 or so people working for the organisation. The closest next competitor, I think, was Liverpool or Arsenal, on around about 850, 900. So significantly bigger than those clubs. Now, some people will argue that their revenue dictates that they need to have that many people, but actually in the modern era, I think having that many people is probably excessive. And without pointing fingers, if those people aren't generating results that are much more improved on the field, then you probably need to question the effectiveness of them as well.
Do you think other clubs might potentially be looking at what United are doing and looking at their own staff sizes and reconsidering?
Yeah, I do. I think they're probably doing it already. I was chatting to a couple of aspirant sporting directors on some of the programmes we run, and was just discussing the situation with the closure of the staff canteen, and all of them, to a person, were saying, we don't get free food at the football clubs we work for. We typically have subsidised meals. We might have a salary sacrifice scheme that is £25 or £50 a month. So I think what Manchester United are doing is extreme, but I think it's necessarily extreme given how out of control costs have been at the organisation. We mustn't, though, forget that as part of that cost equation, the Glazers have sucked up somewhere in the order of £750 million in debt interest payments over the last 15, 20 years. And I think, that is rightly something that they probably need to address sooner rather than later as well.
Excellent.
Yeah, and that's enough.